Hi, my name's Cassie Sanders. I teach over at the ATC, and today we're going to talk about how to make an interactive Google Slides worksheet. This is handy if you have a worksheet that you already have that you want your students that are virtual to be able to complete online. It's easy to make a fillable PDF because fillable PDFs don't work very well over on Google Classroom. And you can also make them as creative as you want. I have two that I'll show you that are on the little more creative side. And let's get started. So I have provided you with this link, and this has links to everything that we're going to work with today. So to get started, I want to show you some of the worksheets that I've already created. These ones that are down here in blue, these are freebies for you. So like I said, there's a fillable job application that I created. So here's that. The kids can type. Each of these blue are text boxes where they can fill in their name. And then they can get the experience of filling out what a job application looks like, and you can grade it very easily. They also can't edit this background, so this is going to stay the same, which is going to make it a little easier on formatting for you. You can also, I've made some Cornell notes, and I'll show you how to edit the master slide on this in a little bit. Here's another worksheet. Make this one a little, oh, not that small. Here's another worksheet, and this is just a get to know you bingo. We've all played this game before, but I've got some social distancing instructions down here. And here's one of my more creative ones. This is a tool ID practice matching. So I created my slide just like I normally would, and then I'm going to show you how to make this background so they cannot edit it. But all they have to do on this one is they can grab the tools and they can drag them over and just match them. I really just needed another activity for the kids to practice their tool ID. So that's where this one came in. You can also do this, instead of having the tool pictures out here, you can also do this for labeling. So I have one made for the labeling the parts of the flower, where out here, instead of having tools, I've got little boxes, and they can just drag these over to practice labeling. So let's get started on how to actually do this. If you'll open the first link on this page that I shared with you, it will open and look like this. Now this is an activity that I had already created. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I would have normally just printed this out on a sheet of paper and had the kids fill it out. The instructions for this are that this bubble sheet is going to be about them. So we're going to get to know them. They can put their picture in the middle, and then in each of the bubbles they're going to fill in one of these informations about them. So this is a really quick way for me to be able to get to know the kid. Now, a problem with this, if I was going to have them do this virtually, is that all of these bubbles are still going to move around. And you could end up with a big mess once you start adding text boxes for the kids to try to start filling in. And so we are going to make this so that this will be set as a background, and then that they cannot edit it. So there's a couple ways you can do this. If you go up here to File, and then you're going to download. Now you can download as a JPEG and then set that as the background image, but I will tell you, when you do this, for some reason your image is very blurry. So you'll get a more clear image if you will download it as a PDF. And then if you will click on the second link that I have provided you, it is called PDF to JPEG. And it will come up looking like this. So you're going to click Select PDF File, the big red button in the middle. And then I'm going to go to my downloads. And then there is the picture of the Get to Know You page that I just started. I'm going to convert that to a JPEG. And then I'm going to download my JPEG image. Now this will download in a zipped file. So I will have to extract my file. And to do that, you just click Extract All. Then I'm going to go back over to my Get to Know You document, and I'm going to add another slide. And then on this slide, I'm going to click on Background, Image, choose Image, Browse, and then I'm going to find the JPEG that I just downloaded. And done. So now it is set as the background for this slide. Now I do not need these title text boxes, so I'm going to delete these out. And there you go. So now that you can edit it and add text boxes, but they can't, it's not going to move around on them. This image isn't. You can do this with a worksheet as well. So if I wanted to take, let's see, for example, I could take this interactive Google Slides worksheet right here. I could download it as a PDF. Or here, I'll show you what it looks like if I download this as, oh nope, I'd have to download it as PDF. Download it as a PDF. You can go back over here, select your PDF file, do this again. Convert it to a JPEG and download this image and then extract it. I could add a new slide. You can also, if you want this size to be different, the size of your page, if you go to File and Page Setup, the down arrow in Custom, you can set this to inches. So I want this to be 8.5 by 11. And I can make this look like an actual Google Doc instead. And then I'm going to set my background as the document that I just downloaded. Oh, nope. Did not extract. Let me try that again. There it is. So I could download any document that I wanted to. So this is now set as my background. You cannot edit it, but I could add text boxes. If I had a question that I wanted the kids to answer, I could add a text box right here underneath it. So going back to where we were a second ago, I'm going to reset the size of my page because I want them to have a little bit more room. This is again the one that they cannot edit, but I want to add a text box for the kids in each of these bubbles so they can give it a title. So I'll just click the text box button, and sometimes you need to prompt them, so I'm going to type here, and then I can copy this and paste it into each of these bubbles for them to be able to work with. And then I can assign this on Classroom Google. They've already have the instructions, and you can just delete out this top slide. There we go. They already have the instructions and they should be ready to go. Now if this were for a virtual kid, they can go online or they can come on here and they can add a picture of themselves right here in the middle. Because I don't know about you, but it helps me when I look at this later and go, oh, it's that kid, when I can see a picture of them right here in the middle where the smiley face is. Because I would probably also have them type their name right here in the middle. Okay, so that makes it very simple so that they can edit it. Now that's the exact same thing that I did over here on this employment application. So I found an employment application that I liked. I downloaded it as a PDF. I saved it or transitioned it from a PDF to a JPEG and then set it as the background. Then all I did to get these blue boxes is I just added a text box. So you click on the little text box, you add it wherever you want it to go, and I just changed the filler color on this one. Instead of clicking or typing type here on every single one of these, I just changed the filler color so they would see that yes, this is a box here, yes, you can type in it, and it would prompt them to fill that in. And I did that on all of these pages. It really didn't take as long as it looks, because once I got one text box created, I just copied and pasted it through this whole document and stretched it the length that I needed it to go. Okay, for the Cornell's notes sheet that I made, this one I edited different. You can actually edit the master slide. So on this one, my students have the option to be able to take notes. So anytime that I provide notes online, my virtual students are going to be required to take digital notes like this. I'm requiring it that way because it's going to be way easier for me to be able to check to see did they take notes like the other kids did. And then they won't have to like take pictures of their notes and upload it and then me look at it and go, well, I really can't read that to see if you did that. So they can also add pictures and all kinds of things into this template. So when you come over here to add a new slide, when you edit the master slide, it gives them the option of those master slides as templates. So I have given them the option of several different varieties of Cornell notes. There are some that have all of the lines on them. There are some that are blank. There are some that have some lines. And on the ones that have lines, I've already edited these text boxes so that all of your words will fit on the lines. So feel free to use these templates. Don't go reinvent the wheel. In here also, I have the option of having them do an open-ended response or a reflect and connect. So if you need a quick class finish, or reflect and connect works really well for that. And this is already created, so you can just drop this this Cornell note sheet on Google Classroom. They can go and add the template themselves. So to do this, you click on View, Master. And we are going to create a Venn diagram master slide on this today. So I'm going to click anywhere in between these slides and I'm going to add a new slide just like I would normally. And I'm going to title it Venn diagram. And I'm going to create a new text box here. And then you just format it the way you want it to go. So I'll center this and I'll make my text a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to go ahead and create my circle shapes. So I'm going to add a circle. And then my circles are going to have to be transparent so that you can see the overlap. You can change your border colors, change the weight of that circle. There we go. Make this a little more round. And then I'm going to copy this circle. and just overlap it. Now anything that you do on a master slide, the children cannot edit this. So they cannot change your circle sizes, they can't change the title of this slide or anything like that. It just creates them a template. Now these circles already have to where I can type in them, but the children would not be able to, because again it freezes it, so you have to give them a text box. So to do that, you're going to insert a placeholder. So next to the text box button there's a drop down box, and then you can insert a body placeholder. And then if you will notice that the font on this does tend to change, and I like all of my font to be the same. So I highlight all of my font, and then I'm going to make it to where it's all 12 point, just because I want it all to be the same. It's not wanting me, there we go. There we go. And then I can just copy this and paste it over into the other sections that I want them to be able to type in. And then you can change the size of it. Alright, now when this is finished, if you go back over here to click on the left hand side, now when I click up here I have the option of assigning them a Venn diagram, and then they can click in here to add text. And again, like I said, they cannot edit your circles or anything up here. Now you can create a document like this, get to know you. You can create that straight in the master slide. Just know that that's still going to show up over here as an option for them to click and add a slide. And so it's up to you. If that doesn't bother you, you can edit everything in the master slide and be just fine. All right, another few things that I've provided for you today. Oh, I guess I can come up here. The way that I did this practice tool matching, I just changed my slide or my page settings to make it to where it was an 8.5 by 11. I inserted 2 columns, and I just typed in my tools that I had. Once I had this ready to go, I just downloaded the whole document or the whole Google Slides as a PDF, changed it to a JPEG, and then I just set each slide, I set each slide's background as the different pictures. Then I came back and I added the pictures out here on the outside border. So they don't have to, all of your text does not have to be within your slide. You can add a lot of stuff out here on the extra sides, and it gives you a lot more space. Just know that these tools will not print. If you go to try to print it, it's only going to print what's actually on the slide. Now, an issue I do foresee with having a document like this, it'll work for most of your kids unless you have a completely blind kid. And when I say completely blind, I mean that they rely on the computer to do text to speech, where it will read everything for them, because this will not, it's a picture now, it will not read that it says floral knife there. So what I would do for these kids is I would save my original document where I typed everything in, where it's still editable, and I would have 2 copies of this. So I would have a tool ID practice matching that's editable, and then a tool ID practice matching that the kids cannot edit. That way, if I did have a blind kid, they could still use the text-to-speech version, and it would read to them. Now, they're still going to have issues with the drag and drop, so you're going to have to work on that. But as far as other stuff, they should still be able to type into a fillable PDF or something like that. All right, 2 other things that I have provided for you on here. I did not create these. Some wonderful lady named Candy Jean did, and I found it on Facebook and shared it with everyone at the ATC, but wanted to share it with you as well. So there's two documents. One is teacher tutorials, and these are just a compiled list of GIFs or YouTube videos on how to work everything Google. And this is editable. If you have something that you want to add to it, you're welcome to, but it will just be on your site, so you won't be changing everyone's. The first tab is everything Google. If you go over to other apps, here are some tutorials for other apps that are available. Now, I realize that we don't use Seesaw, Schoolology, or a couple of these others in high school. However, I left them on here in case you share this with some elementary teachers or someone that does. It's still available. And then there is also a student version of this same document. And so this will tell the students how to do it on their side. So I took this student version and I just used this exact document and I uploaded it onto Classroom Google. So my kids have an option, or all of these available to them. So if they don't know how to split the screen, there's a tutorial on here on how to do that. I also went ahead and added a remind and a Quizlet. So right here where it says join Quizlet class link, I went ahead and put my Quizlet class link in there, and then the same with the remind, so that they have that information for just my class. Or if there's any other tutorials you want them to know how to use. Like my kids make a portfolio on a website portfolio on Wix.com, so I also have Wix added on here for them to be able to use. I hope this really helps you to be able to set up a digital interactive notebook. I'm sorry, not a digital interactive notebook, a Google Slides interactive worksheet. They're a lot of fun to make. I think it'll really help us with our virtual kids this year. And I forgot to go over one of them, so let me go over this one real quick. Alright, so this is another networking bingo. We've all played networking bingo at a workshop sometime. My original instructions, so again, I used the outside of my screen or outside of my slide to put the instructions on here. But these are my original instructions. If I were to print this out for kids normally, here would have been my original instructions. For teaching virtually, I would still have the kids fill out their information where it says me. You could have them either create a flip grid where they introduce themselves and tell all of this information, or just have them stand up and present it to the class. Then everyone else in the class is going, instead of walking around and meeting people, they can just play bingo, and as they hear somebody with the same shoe size, they can type their name in right there. So it's another way to be able to do that still, and your virtual kids can still participate, especially if you did a flip grid for this. Alright, well, I think that concludes this tutorial. I hope it helps. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. My email address is Cassie, C-A-S-S-I-E, .Sanders@LubbockISD.org, and I'll be happy to help you. Y'all have a great day.